Hey group, it's Ethan again. I wanted to let you know how my Solitude retreat went. First of all, I just want to say that 2 hours alone, without interruptions from children or text messages, that was wonderful. I went to this place, a rest stop near the Blue Ridge Parkway, and I sat under these towering oak trees, and it was just wonderful to listen to the trees for 2 hours while I did this meditation on Matthew 11 to unwind and to just sit and be still and kind of breathe with the wind. It was really relaxing, and I think if I had to use a word to describe this experience, it would be the word refreshing. I loved the assignment, the text. I started journaling a bunch on it over the course of the questions and this kind of Lexio activity where we're reflecting on a text multiple times. The phrase that stuck out to me, this passage, we've all probably tarried over this passage for a while and heard it many times in our faith formation. And yet, something that had never stuck out to me before, this phrase, humble in heart. That God, the God of the universe, the King of the universe, here it is, Jesus, saying he's humble in heart. And so that stood out afresh to me. I guess if I heard an invitation, it was that it was to cherish this part of God's character, to cherish his humility. It's almost like I felt like God might be saying it with a twinkle in his eye, that he's humble in heart, and just the kind of comical irony of the King of the universe having a humble heart. And I felt like God was rejoicing in himself being made known a little bit more clearly. And so I loved the space to use my kind of imagination as I was reading this text and kind of articulating it to God and exploring it on paper, that I felt like the invitation was simply to enjoy this part of God's character. I feel like maybe now more than, Western culture, 21st century, there is no off button. The phone is always nearby. We're always available. There's always something to do, even in passing moments. There's the entertainment. And so for us to stop absorbing and for us to empty ourselves, I don't think that's something we're encouraged to do. Maybe now more than ever, the de-stimulation of silence and to kind of de-noise the exterior and hear the interior noise in our particular culture and location in history. You drive somewhere, you listen to the radio or podcast or music. It's always putting in. I think the spiritual practice is incredibly helpful. It's an opportunity to grow in our intimacy with God in the very non-flashy experience of silence and solitude. I'm focusing on kind of emptying myself so I can be available for this one specific phrase within this text. The emptying of my mind and the mental clutter. I needed this little activity, this guided activity, to kind of latch onto something so that I could do that. Jesus retreated, Elijah retreated. And so if we've lost retreat, we're actually missing something of the intimacy we can have with God. And for that reason, I think it becomes instrumental in our faith development. Well, I've got a friend of mine who's kind of made it his vocational aims to reinvigorate monastic practice in the life of the church, and he hosts retreats, he writes about retreats, and he has a suggested rhythm of like an hour a day a week, a weekend a month, a week a year, where he's trying to invigorate a rhythm of retreat. And I don't know if I would formalize it quite that much. Foster talks about this in Celebration of Discipline, that there are many retreats, many solaces that, you commute, just shut off the radio and be in silence and carry that kind of reservoir of silence in these pockets of time interspersed in our day. But someone who's been working from home for over a year now and has children in that home, I think a physical removal from this space and kind of a pilgrimage to a place of retreat and solitude is something I would love to work into once a month. So I'm going to assign myself this homework again. Renewed the accessibility of being able to go and sit somewhere in the quiet and seek God through silence. Jesus did it. He didn't stay there. He didn't say early in the morning Jesus went to a solitary place and never came back. It didn't say that. But I think we do need this retreat rhythm in our lives. And I think we're a long way from making this too frequent. Most of the American church is not a monastic church body where we're risking being so removed from society. It's usually the other way around. So yeah, Let's do this. Let's become advocates of retreat. Thanks for the homework. Hope it was refreshing for you guys too.